We expect the peak of the infections to occur, we hope, already has happened in some parts of the country, particularly southeast, east of England and London, where there was initially a really big surge with the new variant. And it is fantastic that that is beginning to happen, and thanks to what everyone has done. Other areas that went into lockdown a bit later, the peak of the infections will be later, but the peak of hospitalizations is delayed usually by maybe around a week from the peak of infections. That's pushed because it takes a while between people first getting infected to getting ill enough to go to hospital. So that peak will be a bit later in every area of the country, a bit later than the peak of infections. And then the peak of deaths, unfortunately, is a bit later still. So the peak of deaths, I fear, is in the future. The peak of hospitalizations in some parts of the country may be around about now and beginning to come off the very, very top, but at an incredibly high rate, and I cannot stress that enough. And because a lot of people are going to stay in hospital, the peak of people in hospital is later than the peak of people coming into hospital. So that peak, again, will be slightly delayed. And in parts of particularly the north and the southwest, for example, the peak will be later than it is in east of England, southeast, and in London.